Hey everybody, how you going? Steve here. Welcome back to Command Centre Wargaming. So today we're going to have a look at the Horus Heresy Weekender. Now, from what I can see, there's actually been some more stuff that's come out over the last day or so, because I've been following this. But we've now got these terrain pieces which have been announced as well, which is pretty fantastic, and I think they're looking pretty boss in my opinion. So yeah, really nice to see some more sort of like Gothic complete buildings with some rooftops and kind of more of a modern style of terrain. Most of the Warhammer terrain is just literally like obliterated. You know, it's just all like, you know, smashed up and roof falling off, wall smashed in. It's kind of like very debris orientated. Whereas this looks like, you know, actual complete, you know, sort of like citadel buildings and things like that. So, you know, it's pretty cool, guys. So, yeah, we're going to have a look for this. Now, just quickly, just to let you know, I want to talk to everybody about the next prize draw. So the next prize draw will be at 600 subscribers. Now, we've actually had an idea. Only Adonis gave me an idea on a better way to possibly run the junior prizes. Well, not the junior prizes, the loyalty awards, right? You know, I'll have a main prize, but then I think sort of like, you know, like the Calgar sort of thing. I don't think it will be Calgar this time. I haven't made up my mind what it will be. But I'm thinking, like, I'll let you know about that soon. When we get to about maybe 570 or something, I'll make an official video for it, right? But what I'm thinking about doing is, and what only Adonis is saying, is that instead of basically just giving out the Space Marine heroes, because I think the Space Marine heroes are a little bit done and dusted now. I can, you know, send some out, you know, in the future and all that. But I think we sort of need to make something different. Now, I did have a few people contact me basically saying that, you know, oh, Steve, like, you know, I don't really want this Space Marine hero. Can I have, you know, this instead or that instead? Now, the thing is that even though I'd love to be able to do that, you have to understand, guys, that I'm bound by the YouTube's community standards and policy, which means that if I say I run a competition a certain way, I have to basically run it that way, because that's just the way YouTube says. I can't actually just switch a prize around or like send someone something different or whatever. Like if I specifically say that I'm going to give away a Space Marine hero, then that's what the prize is. It's kind of like out of my control, right? So the one thing I was doing is basically letting people, you know, sort of like, you know, get the equivalent amount over PayPal, which no one's actually elected to do so far. But I thought I'd do that option there. But only Adonis was saying a better way. So what I'm going to do, so instead of giving away Space Marine heroes next time, what I'm actually going to do, guys, I'm actually going to go and I'm going to look into implementing the Games Workshop, not credit cards, what are they called again? The vouchers, right? The customer vouchers, right? So what they are is they're Games Workshop vouchers, right? And if you're a winner, then I will send out like a voucher to you, which you can redeem at Games Workshop, okay? And then you can literally buy whatever you want with that then, okay? And then you could put it towards, you know, different prizes, right? Whatever you want. So let's say if, you know, you wanted a land speeder, you know, you could then just take the voucher. It's got a gift card. Sorry, guys. The Games Workshop gift card, right? And basically just literally redeem it. That means I don't have to post stuff. You guys can literally just redeem it at your local store, etc. And then everyone's kind of happy like that. And I think that's actually a really, really good way of doing it, because it also minimizes, like, you know, going down to the post office for me, shipping the items, stuff like that. And then that way you guys can get, like, you know, something more along the lines of what you actually want. Now, with that said, however, I still want to keep at least one main sort of giveaway there, just for the excitement of it, you know, sort of like the excitement of it, because, you know, just giving away gift vouchers can get a little bit boring. So I think it's pretty cool to just have a, you know what I mean, just have a little bit of a, you know, wild card down in there to mix things up. So look, let me know what you think about the comments below about the gift vouchers as well. Let me know what you think about it. Let me know, you know, do you think it's a good idea? Do you think it's a bad idea? Which is pretty cool as well. And yeah, so all good, guys. All right, let's get on with the Horus Heresy Weekender. So The Horus Heresy Weekender 2019 is the live blog by Games Workshop. As usual, I'll put the link down below in the description so you guys can read through it yourself or read along with me or whatever it is you're doing. So, mere weeks after the bombshells dropped at the New Year Open Day, we're looking forward into the future, into the 31st millennium. Right, so it's 30k. And we're at the Horus Heresy Weekender, a yearly celebration with hundreds of eager fans from around the world, and we'll be following along with the various preview seminars to catch all the breaking news as it happens. So even if you're not at the Weekender in person, you'll be sure to be among the first to know about what's next for the Horus Heresy. All right, so just to gloss over this, guys, in case you don't know, so we've basically, these are new weapons. I haven't seen this before. We've basically got White Scars, we've got Blood Angels, we've got the, it's a Titanic, another Titanicus, I think it's like a Titan or something, Mechanicus Titan or something like that. We've basically got the Subterranean APC thing, right? We've got some Blood Angels, Contemptor Dreads, and some Necromunda stuff, which is pretty cool. All right, and I'll be going through these in more detail a bit later. Right, more stuff for Necromunda. All right, so scrolling down here, you've got like a squat, like sort of like a ammo loader or a technician squat. All right, more Necromunda stuff. This guy looks suspiciously like the Baron Harkonnen from Dune, but that's all good, it's fine. And of course, Sanguinius. Now, that's actually a different model to Sanguinius, okay, that we've seen before. This is a special edition one. I think it looks a lot better, actually. So, you know, with the spear in hand, it actually looks like it makes a lot more sense. I'm still not 100% big on that face. It kind of looks like, what's his name? Grand Moff Tarkin from Star Wars. What was his name again? He also played Doctor Who. Peter Cushing. So, yeah, I don't know. He's all right. Like, you know, he's a good model, but there's just a few things. And there's another book. All right. Malevolence. Okay, so... yeah, and the new Terminator, sorry, not Terminator, Space Wolf, Space Marines here. Okay, so they're basically the, you know, special forces, kind of like a destroyer squadron for the Space Wolves. Okay, but I'm going into more detail about those later. All right, so, which is really cool. Okay, so, day 2, Sunday the 3rd of February, 2019. The Adeptus Titanicus, the Doom of Molinek approaches. Alright, so over the past year, the world of the Horus Heresy has expanded with more books from the Black Library, more content for battles in the Age of Darkness, and of course, the Adeptus Titanicus, a new version of the classic game that allows you to recreate some of this legendary age's most massive clashes. We've just had some incredible news on the future of Adeptus Titanicus with the next campaign book, new weapons, and some of the coolest terrain you've ever seen. Right, so I believe the Reaver Titan was just announced for this. Okay, one of the thrills of Adeptus Titanicus is the sheer scale, with models dwarfing the buildings around them. With the right board, Adeptus Titanicus has a grand cinematic sweep, which is why we're releasing 2 more resin tiles that'll make creating your own dystopian cityscapes simpler than ever. So let's take a look at this. So, yeah, so these are kind of like your Realm of Battle sort of tiles, but for Titanicus. And I believe the buildings are a lot smaller and things like that. It's a little bit different scale, but you could probably get away with using it for 40k if you really wanted to. It's just the scale's a little bit weird. Like it's a lot smaller, but I mean you could definitely just go through and, you know, those could easily be statue sort of pillars or something like that, you know, if you wanted to use it for 40k. But I'm not sure if they actually fit too well. There's already existing tiles out there for 40k, like bunkers and things like shield generators in the snow from Forge World, which are really cool. But you know what, guys? Like, you can just go through, make your own. So, you know, it's all good. But I like this one. It's pretty cool. You got kind of like the bunker there with the blast door. You know, you've got sort of, these are like landing pads. And they're pretty cool for actually seeing the overall scale of Titanicus, I feel. You know, I mean, it's nothing special, but it helps you to give that perception of scale. Like, you know, if you have some terrain there from like, what's it called? Bolt Action or Flames of War, you know, or some Warhammer terrain itself, and you've got it at a certain scale, and you put it up next to your Titanicus Titans, it kind of throws it off, takes a lot of the cinematic elements out of it, because, you know, all of a sudden you realize, okay, you've got this Titan and it's like tiny, and compared to this other building, it doesn't really work. Whereas this scale is more appropriate, and you can just get that awesome sense, you know, that you're piloting this huge sort of mechanical walker when you're using this terrain. Okay, but yeah, awesome. So what's more, a standalone set of plastic spires can be combined with the Sector Imperialis kits, or use alone to add a distinctly Gothic vernacular to your terrain and create the striking Baroque skylines you know and love from the world of the 31st and the 41st millennium. So these are these sort of like, you know, new sort of Victorian era intact buildings that are coming out, you know, which you can add to your, you know, Realm of Battles and your Sector Imperialises, and I think they're really cool. I've got a 3D printer here. It's a really good one because I was developing a tabletop war game myself, I actually have to set it all up, and I'm probably going to be printing my own terrains anyway. So, you know, that's probably the way I'll go for it. I already have a lot of Warhammer terrain, believe it or not, from Citadel and Games Workshop. And I find that, you know, eventually the stuff kind of just gets the same kind of thing, just like dished out all over again. But either way, look, I wouldn't say no to a set of these. I'd probably buy a box of these. I don't know about the new one that just came out, that city one that just came out. I can't remember, City Conflict or where it is. Sorry guys, I forgot the name of it. Yeah, look, you know, this stuff in there was pretty generic. I've got most of all that kind of stuff. It's just debris, really. But this stuff is really cool. You know, especially if you want to have some city battles and things like that, are really going well. So don't worry if you've already built a bunch of Sector Imperialis buildings. These spires are highly modular and can be added to and removed from your chosen structures at ease. So here we have some of the buildings on top of existing buildings from 40k, right? So they're just basically, they're kind of like set dressing in a way. I guess they could work on their own, but at the same time, they're kind of like ornament pieces, you know. But I do like them, and I do like the fact that, you know, we're starting to get, you know, buildings now that aren't completely destroyed, because, you know, not every single building in Warhammer, I suppose, would be destroyed, you know. A lot of them would be, but maybe not every single building. But anyway, it's so cool. Of course, buildings and terrain are just a small part of what's on the way for Adeptus Titanicus. We're incredibly excited to reveal the sequel to Titan Death and the next Adeptus Titanicus supplement series, The Doom of Molech. All right, so here we go. So we've got a Molech here. All right, so he's looking pretty cool, rocking out there. So it's like Forge World Knight, one of the Forge World Knights. Okay, so yeah, now, okay, so these buildings look like they're meant to be scaled for Adeptus Titanicus, or for Titanicus. However, like, I'm convinced you could use those in a game of 40k as well. Like, a Space Marine's sort of like silhouette would easily be able to, you know, fit into that, you know. Oh, and then again, maybe not, because you got that veranda there. Yeah, all right, maybe not. I don't know. I'd still use them. I'd put a couple of steeples up on my terrains, or up on my you know, what's it called, the Sector Aquilis or whatever it is. So I'd definitely put them in there. You could use them for both. So the Doom of Molech allows you to experience war in the Horus Heresy on a new scale. This has always been a huge chapter for the Age of Darkness. A war that will dwarf even the Earth's shattering conflict between the legions that came before it, as Titans, Knight households, and more joined the Horus Rebellion. The Doom of Molech campaign book allows you to fight these battles for yourself, with lore and campaigns that bring the conflicts explored in the Black Library's vengeful spirit to life in sumptuous detail. Meanwhile, rules for a variety of Titan legions offer you even more tactical choice. There's even the option to field an entire army of nothing but knights for a maximum gallantry, particularly fitting as Molech was where the first infamous of trader knight houses Devine or Devine or Devanay or Devine would reveal the depths of their perfidy and turn upon the allies. Oh, sorry guys, like absolute butchering of terminology there. But, you know, what can I do? All right, it's Warhammer. So, sometimes I don't even know if they know what they're writing. Just get like a whole bunch of words, you go, yeah, anyway. So, in the long run, there are some exciting new kits on the way, with all the plastic Warlord and Revolt weapons soon to be available separately. So we can see here we have some of the weapons here for the Reavers, Warlord upgrades. It's part of the one photo. I'd actually be inclined to use some of this for kit bashing for 40k as well. You could create some pretty sweet turrets and that for scenery, debris. You could add weapons onto existing things as well. So it's pretty awesome in that respect. I wouldn't limit this to Titanicus. Forge World is stepping in with a variety of upgrade sets featuring some more esoteric options like the Moray Quake Cannon and the Warp Missile Rack. Alright, so here we go. We got some really cool CAD, you know, sort of designs here. Although it looks like this is just a render of it, so it's no big deal. I won't pick it apart for Engons, but anyway. That's a 3D rendering term, guys. It's like Engons, but anyway. Here, yeah, no, there'd be Engons all over that. Anyway, it's all good. So, yeah, here we have some of the weapons. And we basically have some kind of Gatling launcher here. Oh my goodness, who's modeling this stuff? This is horrible. Sorry guys, I'm a professional 3D artist and stuff, and like when I see stuff like this, I can't help but wonder what the heck people are doing. Yeah, anyway, all good. I suppose you just clean it up. You just click a button and clean it up. So some more weapons here for the Warlord Titan, all that kind of stuff. So it's really cool stuff there. All right, so after that, well, we don't want to give anything away. We kind of already did. At this point, we can confirm that even more narrative-focused rulebooks like Titan Death and Doom of the Moloch are on the way, as well as rules for even more Titan Legions, a growing range of plastic knights, titans, and terrain, and a host of resin kits from Forge World to round it out. It's a great time to get started, which is why we're happy to announce that after overwhelming popular demand, the Adeptus Titanicus Warlord Edition is coming back for a second run, giving you a great way to get started. And I missed this the first time around, ladies and gentlemen. So I think that this would be a fantastic time for me to get into it. And it is the Grandmaster Edition, so, you know, that means I have to buy it, right? If it's the Grandmaster Edition. Anyway, that's what it is. All right, so more news to come on that one. Okay, so now down to the highlights. So yeah, I was right. This is from day 2, right? So they released this Titanicus stuff on day 2, and then all this stuff is from day 1. This happened, I think, you know, a day and a half ago or something like that. Now, look, I'm not going to go too crazy on everything here, guys, because, you know, I'm just going to be giving some of my opinions on it. Because, you know, I've seen a lot of videos already on this stuff, so, you know, I value your time. I'm not going to just go too crazy, but there are some comments I want to make on the units and just my thoughts and perspectives. Okay, so cool. We're not done with the battles in the Age of Darkness reveals just yet. We've got a glimpse at some new White Scars models that'll be coming out ahead of Malevolence, and they really are stunning. So first up, we've got 2 Praetors, replete with a wealth of Legion-specific detail, including furs, ruins, barding. These models perfectly capture the unique character of their Legion. Let's take a look at those guys here. Hopefully my noggin isn't, you know, basically covering that up too much. And I will say, okay, first of all, it looks like Peter's attempt to hammer Games Workshop about having furs and animals in the models failed. I don't know if anyone remembers that, but Peter made a petition. It's like, you know, the wildlife protection, whatever it is. And for some reason, of all the things they could have had a shot at, they wanted to pick on Games Workshop, and they actually sent a letter over to Games Workshop demanding that they stop putting furs and all this kind of stuff on their miniatures. And like, I remember it was quite funny. Games Workshop pretty much just, yeah, I don't even think they replied. I think they just laughed at him. But anyway, you know, I could do a video on that another time. It's old news, but it's just something that makes me laugh. So All good, guys. All right. So one thing all around with the 3rd edition stuff, I'm not 100% massive on these backpacks. They can be switched out though. That's an absolute, like, not a big deal at all. Okay. And White Scars, look, it's fantastic to see these guys getting some love. I really, really, really like White Scars. I think they're really, really cool. Okay. And now I remember White Scars from back in the day of Paul Swayer's White Scar army back from the 3rd edition Codex, the 3rd edition rulebook. And I remember seeing these Marines here, and they were basically like all white. And I remember because I thought Space Marines always looks like Stormtroopers a fair bit with chunkier shoulder pads. And then when I saw these white versions of the Space Marines, I thought, oh, gee, like, you know, they look even more, you know, like Stormtroopers and stuff like that. So that was pretty cool. But anyway, I had a photo of him here. So that's him here. That's Paul Swayer, right? He's a champion, awesome player, a bit of a legend, actually. He had a White Scar army back in the day, and, you know, he was one of the, maybe not one of the first players, but one of the original, sort of like competitive players and that. And I remember seeing him. He was kind of like, I don't want to call him that, but Duncan was, I guess Duncan's like, he's been made by Games Workshop as a marketing figure. I guess this guy was as well. But he was kind of like the Duncan, but for competitive play back in the days of 3rd edition, you know? So that's basically it. Not that I got anything against Duncan at all, but like, you know, so anyway. So Duncan's cool, but like I said, he's a product of GW, right? Sorry, he is. So, so we're not done with, okay, read that. Okay. Yep. Cool. So just talk a little bit about this some more. So now the thing is with the White Scars is they've always been about speed. They've always been about that sort of Mongolian speed, fast attack theme. They're always rocking into bikes and stuff like that and land speeders, which is kind of weird because then it's like, you know, Dark Angels came along and then they became like, you know, the sort of land speeder army, and White Scars were just bikes. And then basically by the time you got to like 7th edition, White Scars bikes were basically just not superseded, but all the other sort of chapters bikes were nearly as good as the White Scars bikes, and they kind of lost this sort of edge, but they're still really cool. And, you know, and they're all right, you know, they got their own flavor. Now, the thing is like, one thing I say is they got this eagle here. A lot of the White Scars heroes and that, they have this eagle rocking around with them. It's meant to be like a scout or something. It's kind of like themed up within their model. And you can see here, they've got a lot of sort of this pelting and this fur going on. Again, sort of like, you know, capitalizing on that Mongolian feel. You know, the Attila sort of theme there. And then you got kind of like these sort of like pikes, you know, sort of like these, I can't remember what they're called now officially, but they're, I don't know, not cutlasses. It's kind of like spears, not halberds, but, you know, and I don't know, I think they look okay. They do look a little bit primitive on the edge, but here's the thing, like, again, it fits in with the White Scars theme of being, you know, sort of like this Mongolian horde space marine army that are like, you know, rocking up, and they're barbarians essentially of, you know, of that kind, you know. Sort of like Space Wolves are kind of like, you know, sort of like Viking barbarians. These guys are, you know, sort of like Mongolian barbarians, or Mongol barbarians. But at the end of the day, all Space Marines are barbarians anyway. So everyone's just barbarians, but who cares, right? So that's basically just what it is. Yeah, and I mean, aside from that, guys, nice sculpt, nice detail, really, really nice sort of, you know, sort of like eye detail here on the eyepiece. Kind of reminds me of like an old G.I. Joe model called Nemesis. I think it was Nemesis Enforcer. And he was like this big bat dude with wings, and he had like a snake body, and then, you know, had this like sort of like patch over one eye. Love the idea of the scar coming down the face here, which is absolutely fantastic. That's some of the detail that I would have liked to have seen on that female commissar model. I forgot the name of it already. What was it again? Because no one cares. Savina Rain, I think. Yeah, so basically, that's because I got a really good memory. But basically, that's the kind of detail I would have liked to have seen on Serena Rain. You know, to, and as I said, like, you know, anyway, that's another video. We won't go down there. Really cool armor, kind of like this samurai ornamental armor here as well, which is really cool. You know, and I like this sort of like, you know, the way it's propped up on a rock here on a base. However, I think they could have gone a little bit better with the basing in the paint job, you know, but that doesn't matter, guys, because you can basically base them in whatever you want, okay? I would have liked to have seen these guys in some mud, sort of like maybe some, I suppose that is mud, but it looks more like sort of like rocky sort of mud. But I would have liked to see some mud on there, a little bit more dirt up here, kind of like, you know, like when you picture these guys as like Mongols, you picture them sort of like, you know, running through the mud, you know, on their horses, and like a marsh, like a, you know, like a muddy sort of grassy area, you know, maybe a few splashes popping up around, you know, and all that. But look, that's just me, guys. It's, you know, that's all subjective, so it's all good. So if you're looking for a leader in your White Scars, you can't go wrong with either of those two guys. So they're both commanders. We've also got to look in the incredible White Scars Contemptor Dreadnought and Leviathan Dreadnought. While Dreadnoughts are rare in this speed-loving legion, they remain some battled brothers willing to be reborn as one of these ironclad war machines. Bit of an issue here for me, but I'll explain in a second. Indeed, we reckon being a Land Raider-sized armor-clad icon of death probably just about makes up for not being able to ride a bike anymore. Well, here's the thing. You could have done a Dreadnought on a bike, Forge World. No excuses. You could have had like a transforming hover bike with repulsor technology, with 4 las cannons on it, being ridden by a Contemptor Dreadnought and a Space Marine Lieutenant up the back. Okay, that's what you could have done, but you didn't, did you? No. Whatever. Okay. Guys, I love these models. I think these models are absolutely fantastic. Not that I'm massive on White Scars, like, you know, I like White Scars. I don't have a White Scar army, you know, because I just use Dark Angels for that kind of stuff. But, you know, just some of the details, these models are very unique, right? Now, a lot of the other sort of Contemptors that have come out, the Blood Angels one was fantastic, okay, but I think it was the Night Lord one was okay, but I just didn't feel it sort of was unique enough. And I think I mentioned in my last video that I just didn't think that the Night Lord one could have been kit bashed, right? You could have literally just kit bashed that yourself with a bit of a nice, you know, paint scheme. You could have gone across and kit bashed that yourself, okay? But anyway, loving all this detail, the spike, the plume, the, you know, kind of thing, all this sort of Mongolian sort of heraldry, you know, the shield here like that, you know, this sort of iconography here, painting, the sort of like lightning bolt, you know, designs going everywhere, sharp edges, the lightning bolt here on the knee pad, absolutely great. And that looks embroidered as well onto the model. That doesn't look like a sticker. I mean, I could be wrong, I haven't seen it, but you know, that's basically it. And now the face also looks really awesome as well. Looks very unique. I love that kind of like triangular visor. The only thing is that I'm not big on, and you could get away with this easily by like putting some green stuff over the top of it and sculpting it in, or just not making it so apparent in the paint job, is just right here, just near the helmet. It kind of looks like he's smiling, like it's like really cartoony, like he's like smiling. But again, guys, it's just me nitpicking. I could get around that. I could totally get around that. Now here we go. Here's the White Scars Leviathan, and this looks amazing. I love this extra shielding here. It's like extra armor. Again, you know, the whole Mongolian iconography and heraldry thing going on. All right. A little bit less detail than the Contemptor, but I think Games Workshop just knows everybody's going to buy that anyway, so, you know, they don't have to go all out on it. But I think both these models have been hit right on the head in terms of design. They're not too busy, you know, like they're not overdone with just all this crap just going on them. But they're unique enough to say, look, I'm going to order this model. There's enough that sets this model apart from the other things, like the other Leviathans and things like that. So really loving them. So yeah, So, but if your Dreadnoughts can't ride bikes, how will they keep up with your troops? Simple. You can just deliver them into battle with a redesigned, upsized Dreadnought Drop Pod. Now, it's really cool to see these things coming back. Okay, Dreadnought should be able to drop pod in. Okay, that's awesome. And just quickly, just go back to these Dreadnoughts for a second, these White Scar Dreadnoughts. What I wanted to say is that, you know, although I like these, you know, I don't think that, you know, Dreadnoughts would be a really, really good fluffy option for the White Scars army. It even says it there. It's kind of like, well, you know, but again, look, I'm not going to go negative on this, guys, because I got nothing else but positive to say. And you know what? If you don't want Dreadnoughts in your White Scars, it's very simple. Just don't take them, all right? So anyway, and there's more. We've also had our first look at Raldoron, a legendary hero of the Blood Angels who would go on to lead the Legion following the deaths of Sanguinius as his first ever chapter master. So he's pretty cool. All right, he's looking nice. He's looking unique. He's looking Blood Angels. You know, but he's still looking sort of 30k. Now, I've heard a lot of people saying that he's, you know, he's kind of looking a little bit too 40k for 30k. But here's the thing. What you got to remember is that I feel that his armor is signifying a shift in the period from 30k to 40k because, you know, he's passing on the torch of adventure. It's like Sanguinius died, you know, this guy took over. He's the guy that's ushering in a new era into 40k, right? Which is pretty cool. And I'm not 100% on that stance with the sword, to be honest. Hopefully, I doubt that's optional. I'm pretty sure that's the way the model will be. But yeah, I just think, I don't know, they could have had a better pose for him. I'm not sure what he's trying to do there exactly. I know he's like cleaning his sword or something. You know, he's got the blood or the ooze or whatever from this hand coming off it here. But, you know, I do like this armor plating here. You guys got a frag grenade there. Yeah, it's really cool. It's somewhere sort of halfway between, you know, like 30k and 40k armor, and I like it. Even this thing here is sort of like this shield here is very, very cool. You know, it's sort of like very unique. I haven't seen that before yet, like that exactly on a model yet, and it's awesome. Sword looks awesome. He's got his Mohawk Astartes haircut because he's heading into the 40k era, which is really awesome. So fantastic there. And we all know, as I said, Sanguinius is out, guys. So, you know, there's going to be Blood Angels coming out, and I wouldn't be surprised if we're going to see some 40k stuff rocking out for Blood Angels as well. I don't think we're going to see Sanguinius for Blood Angels as a Primarch because he's dead, although he could be revised. I was thinking about this sort of like this thing where you could just have Sanguinius like sort of going through the warp through time and then appearing in the 40k universe in the future. You know, and maybe it just wasn't reported and then he walked back later and died. Sort of like, yeah, so he goes from the past into the future, fights battles in 40k, and then warps back to, like, you know, 30k to die. And he knows he's going to die, and it's brutal and all that kind of crap. And he kind of knows the future, but he's got to, like, keep it a secret, you know, because he can't tell anyone. And he's good at keeping secrets because he kept the Black Rage a secret, except for, you know, from Horus. So anyway, so that's that. Really cool model there. So, of course, characters are a key part of the Horus Heresy, but so are terrifyingly huge war machines. Fans looking for those won't be disappointed. We have our first peek at the real painted versions of two massive new engines of destruction. Meet the Mechanicum Acastus Knight Asterius and the Mechanicum Ordinatus Aktaeus. Alright, so it's pretty cool. I don't like it, I'll be honest with you. First of all, these guns look way too big. I think they're massive, what do you call them again? I always forget this name. Not particle beamers. Not grav flux cannons. I'm just going to keep going, guys. I thought it last time too on my Alpha Legion. Yeah, so anyway, so basically, look, you know, my issue is with this is that it's very round. It's kind of almost like a scarab up the top. I don't get the whole sort of like, you know, obsidian kind of, you know, mask in the middle there. It looks very, yeah, I just don't like it. I just don't like it. I can't put my finger on exactly why I don't like it. I think maybe it's just like the round armor and stuff, and maybe the proportions of the actual model and the arm to body ratio and things like that. But yeah, so let's just leave it at that. I don't like it. Okay, I can't really go into that anymore. It's just something's just not sitting right with it about me, and I think it's just the scaling of it, to be honest, and proportions. And I'm more a fan of like sort of, you know, like rectangular shapes and square shapes. So the whole sort of like turtle round mangary thing with the little Phantom of the Opera face popping out doesn't quite do it for me. Okay, but look, if it's your thing, great stuff. I'm not going to go through this subterranean APC thing, because I've gone through it in a previous video. All right, now here we go. There's some other CAD designs I've got going on for, I believe they're White Scar Terminators. Yeah, so, and then we've got another Blood Angels Contemptor Dreadnought, and this one has some crazy Dr. Robotnik mech jetpack on it, and I like it, but I just think it looks a little bit out of place. It's kind of like, it looks like someone's just got a kit from like the Challenger space shuttle, you know, model from, you know, Revel or Tamaya or whatever, and just gotten the, you know, the exhaust, the thrusters from the back, and just gone, oh man, and just stuck them on the back. Yeah, so I like the idea, but it's just seems a little bit impractical to me. I like the claws. I think the claws look really cool and aggressive. I think something like this might have been a little bit better for Raven Guard, though. More appropriate for Raven Guard. But the issue is with you know, Dreadnoughts now, I suppose, especially for Blood Angels, is that they're running out of ideas now. I mean, there's only so many weapons you can give them. We've got swords and shields rocking out on, you know, Custodian Dreads. We've got, like, you know, halberds, you know, Guardian Spears rocking out on Dreads. We've got everything now. So they're trying to do something different. I like those. I think they're cool. I don't know, maybe some kind of double-bladed weapon, like, I don't know, it's just hard to tell. I mean, what are Blood Angels known for? They're known for swords and flamethrowers and stuff like that, right? So, and melee, I suppose. You know what they should have done? I'll tell you now, guys, what they should have done. They should have given him a big effed off Thunder Hammer and a Storm Shield. And that would have been a buy. Anyway, moving on. So then we have some Necromunda stuff. Alright, so, you know, we've got these units here. I'm not actually sure what these are. Let's have a look what it says. Okay, first off, short run. You look forward to even more bounty hunters to add your gang. Deadly Guild Mercenary, Beatram Atros III. Brings a touch of class and refinement and some deadly new tech. I'd say that would be him. This sort of like Captain Cook dude in the middle. To your battles, while Otrium 8.8 and Theatros are powerful and grotesque wards capable of flaying opponents alive with deadly space warpcraft. Cool, alright. So that's like some Quato or something. It's crazy stuff. You know, I like them. I actually really like that model. Yeah. You know, that looks like a Borg drone or something mixed in with something. Yeah, awesome. Something model. Alright, so less flashy. Okay, you know, there's some rats, guys, with candles on their heads. I'm not going to even presume to assault your intelligence to go on about that anymore. Some new heads for Mechanicus, not Mechanicus, for Necromunda. All right, which is really cool. Some new weapons options. Really nice weapons options here. All right, once again, guys, I'm putting this down below in the description. So the link here so you can follow this. that's some cool Cobra Commander Jason Vore. He's hybrid dude. Looks like Cable. Casey Jones from Ninja Turtles left his hockey stick at home and grabbed a Chris knife from June. The dude from XCOM. Oh, guys, funny. And, you know, the squat repair guy, right? So, all right. So, yeah. So, we got some cool stuff here. All right. These guys are... It doesn't really tell me. But this is some upcoming stuff. Yeah, so cool. Now, last but not least, we have the Sanguinius model here. Right, this is a special edition one that you can order from them for a limited time, I believe. It's pretty much the same model, but with a spear, and he's attacking like a demon, and it looks awesome. He's still got his dick rock, but it's basically in the background. Yeah, and that's pretty much it for him. I'm not going to really go too much into that because you can check out my other Sanguinius video for all my opinions on him. Horus Heresy Book 8, Malevolence. Okay, so it's pretty cool. We've got a new book coming out for Horus Heresy 30k, featuring Blood Angels and White Scars. And I've heard it's got some Custodes stuff in there too. But thing is, guys, is that, you know, I still am waiting for the Talons book. I would have rather them made the Talons book. But whatever, at least they're doing stuff. And look, I'm really happy with the 40k Forge World rules for the Custodes anyway. So I'm not going to have a bitch and a cry about that. So it's all good, okay? So yeah, so the rest of it I'll just let you guys read on for yourselves. Except we've got these guys here. So these are called the Death Sworn, a brutal Space Wolves unit made up for those whom the then nascent curse of the Wolfen was more of a blessing. Yeah, so these guys, looks like, you know, there's some elite sort of strike teams for Space Wolves. They're kind of like destroyers, I think, for Space Wolves. And there's not much else we know about them right now. But yeah, look, if you know more about these guys, drop a comment in the comments down below. And we'll have a look. I really like them. I think this will, except for the backpacks once again, but again, I'm cool with that. Guys, there's nothing a conversion won't fix here. I love the helmets. I'm thinking the helmets could look really boss on some conversions for 40k too. Stuff like, you know, the Wolf Lord Terminators and things like that. Wolfguard Terminators. So, you know, really awesome here. And yeah, that's pretty much it, everybody. So those are the new Horus Heresy Weekender releases. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Please drop me the feedback in the description down below, or in the comments down below. And look, if you've enjoyed this video and you want to stay up to date with all the new releases, news, reviews, tutorials on Warhammer 40k and 30k, please consider subscribing to the channel and click the little bell notification icon down below. Really helps us out when you do that. And yeah, I'll see you all in the next video, everybody. Peace out.